then I sent an email to item 2 need bonded,
Yeah.
and then the engineer's estimates will need.
Moving over all your items.
Okay.
They're gonna call you, I think Chris with Tom's office is gonna call you. He just had some questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Supposed to.
Hey, good evening. This is James King. Am I in the right meeting?
Yep, sure are.
We'll try to get on this.
Right.
Okay.
Calling from Virginia.
Okay.
Want to make sure you have a quorum.
Yep, it looks like we do.
Board member, James King. You said that, I was.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Do you have Jeff's calling number?
Yeah, he's on right now.
Jeff's on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Jeff.
Classes.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
Is this one new?
The
iPad? Yeah. This one is in much nicer shape than all. At least I think so.
original
Oh,
one and then rose gold one.
right.
I always forget.
Is the letter in there?
Instructional report.
The report's in the same folder. Yeah. I think it's just the recommended repair.
It's written on
Is there a
the
first
drawings.
page?
You guys zoom like way in.
There's not like a separate document like before.
I hate those.
Come back there.
Yeah.
I already had that hand.
That was the first one. There was a buck.
Yeah,
I was
there.
just like, throw it in the garbage. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Had like one. And then you go walk a different time. I don't like, anything. After we-
There's some steps calling.
Your presentation keeps crashing my
It
the
does?
Drive app. Yeah.
Here, why don't you use this one?
Oh, I guess I could just switch to one. Maybe it's this.
Oh, yeah, and James isn't there, so. Just hit the home button twice. There you go. And see, so if you accidentally go to another one, you can.
Then if I want to go back out to the folder, I just hit X.
Which one is yours?
Smash it or
You know, I'm not sure Willie would be very happy with that, but I will have Nita take a look at it.
No, I thought you locked it.
right. Yeah, if you pull down, there's a lock aspect. So then that should keep it on. Just press it once. No, no.
Shake, shake. Think about those, most of the time, they're pretty safe.
So I'm just missing one member.
She's not-
emailed me like a second.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right, well, it's 7, so we can go ahead and start the meeting. I'll begin with we'll go ahead and call to order the August 16th, 2022 Pendleton Board of Zoning Appeals, starting with a roll call to my left,
Jerry Burmeister.
Jamila Zafar.
Kyle Eichhorn, And virtually?
James King's here.
All right, we have 4 or 5 presents, we have a quorum. On your drive, the minutes from the previous meeting are there, and I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion, do we have a second?
I second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
James King votes aye.
All right, minutes approved. On to old business. Condemnation hearing for 116 to 120 West State Street.
Great. So we did receive the engineer repair report from RC Engineering. It is in your drive. And it's 5 pages, and each detail has ways you could repair the damages that are in the building. So I know it's really small text on the presentation, but in the report, if you zoom in, you could see where each repair is needed, how it can be remediated. And we can, I think today, vote on what kind of time period we want to give Mr. Busey to remediate these repairs. So the original deadline was October 19th. So whatever the board thinks is appropriate to push that out. It could be 6 months, it could be 8 months, whatever you feel is appropriate. And then as time goes on, if you see that repairs are being done, you can continue to move that. So the daily fees will not begin. Did I say that right, Jeff? We can continue doing that and pushing out the deadline?
Yes, you absolutely can. You should, if you don't extend it to a date certain, you can simply notice him as when you'd like a review hearing, but best practice is just set it out for a date certain for a meeting in the future where there'll be a definitive.
Okay.
If we extend that,
Mhm.
for example, 6 months,
Mhm.
at the end of that 6 months, we determine we need more time. Are we allowed to go back and extend it again?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
So as far as our staff recommendation, we haven't been in the building to confirm if it's sealed yet, which is fine. Mr. Busey has been working on it. So setting up today some sort of timeline for those structural remedies, and then extending that civil penalty deadline.
Steve has seen this, Mr. Busey.
Yes, he
has
was
went
sent
over
a
this.
copy certified mail.
Is there
Oh, go ahead.
a professional recommendation on how long it would take to do this?
I mean, we could start with 6 months and then just go from there, you know. You can definitely extend it to whatever the board thinks is appropriate, but I do not have a professional recommendation.
I mean, if we extend it 6 months and it's done beforehand, then you could proceed with trying to get occupancy. Or
Correct.
whatever. So-
Absolutely.
So I guess your first recommendation, confirm building seal completion. So do we have any?
We have not. Oh, interesting. We haven't been in there. We can set something like that up if
Okay.
you want to extend another 30 days just specifically for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should extend that 30 days, and then staff can meet
Mhm.
on site and confirm that, and then at the next meeting, we can confirm that that's completed.
Yes, we can do that.
And then I guess we don't have like a contractor estimate on how long a reasonable amount of time these repairs are.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, we think it's 6 months then.
And per our structural engineer, this document could be taken to a well-rounded general contractor, and they can interpret, you know, what needs to be done and give like a more accurate contractor's price for what all of the repairs would cost. We can obtain engineers' estimates, but those are very, very general. So we can get those, and Steve, if you'd like those, we're happy to get them for you, but it might just be better to have a general contractor that you're gonna work with, look at it and give you a more direct price.
Okay. I guess, Steve, do you want to come up and speak to the progress and
Yeah, you're gonna make any motions first and do any of that stuff?
Well, we're gonna give you an opportunity to provide input, and then we'll consider the motions.
I think she just said that the engineer made other statements to them. Did he put them in writing, and why didn't I get a copy?
Of what?
That, to get other estimates and all that other stuff, whatever you just said.
I mean, that's something that wasn't a part of his contract, so we don't have it in writing anywhere, but he told me that he would be happy to provide those as just an engineer's estimate. They're not nearly as accurate as if you go to a general contractor, but they can give you a rough idea of what those.
Okay,
repairs
did he
might
give
cost.
you anything else in writing that I didn't get a copy of?
No.
Did he verbally say that the building is unsafe?
That's all, of the past. We're not talking
No.
about that right now.
What do you mean we don't want to talk about it? You guys have
I
my building
mean-
condemned.
It's very
You're
clear
saying it's unsafe.
that he gave you a structural report that
As far as I'm
our
concerned,
unsafe building ordinance.
as
is
far
not
as
going
I'm
to.
concerned, these are just repairs and that the building is safe. So why don't we have that engineer give his opinion as to whether or not it's safe for human occupation?
Those are repairs that need to be addressed. to sound.
Structurally sound
what
and
he's
safe for the
focused on.
public aren't necessarily the same thing. These are all still back on the back of the building, which no public goes back there.
Our unsafe building ordinance covers all of that. And if the structural repairs are not made, then it does not meet compliance. So there cannot be any. public
So here we
occupation.
are again, that someone's supposed to move out of their house because their garage roof needs fixed. That doesn't make sense.
Not all the repairs are to the back.
Yeah.
There is a sheet. There are other repairs.
Can you look at these? Maybe you can tell me which ones are up
I
front.
mean, I haven't been in the building, so I'm not.
No,
Roof
but
framing and
from the
second
drawings.
floor
Yeah,
framing.
roof framing, second floor framing, and then there's addition framing repairs. So there's 3 sheets that show the repairs needed.
in the back.
S1 roof framing is the main building. Sheet S2 second floor framing, that is also the main building. And then sheet S3 is the framing repairs for the
Do
add-on.
you see on here where it says it's up front?
Regardless of if it's up front or not, the entire building, you can't have occupants in it if any part of it is unsafe. And it's a commercial building.
But he didn't say it was unsafe. He didn't put nothing in writing saying it was safe or unsafe.
We didn't ask him, Steve, if it was safe or unsafe. We asked him to give us a study of things wrong with the building. That's what he done. You have the same report we have. You're looking at the very same thing, I assume, already have, that we're looking at now. You know where the problems lie.
Right? Do you see that brick wall?
Yes, sir.
You don't have a wooden wall in front of it. He's telling me to put wooden walls right beside a brick wall. Does your building have wooden walls
didn't-
right beside a
He
brick
didn't
wall?
study this building. That's irrelevant. We
I'm
asked
trying
him to
protect
provide.
this guy because you
No,
guys
we
can do
asked
the
him
same
to
thing
provide a
to him.
report on what repairs were necessary
Necessary for what?
to make the building structurally sound and, suitable for human occupation for the public.
The public doesn't go back there. How many times do I have to say
Well,
that?
we have also discussed in prior meetings, there could be a collateral effect if that building collapsed, it could damage other buildings. But that's irrelevant because there are repairs to the roof and the second floor framing in the main building.
It's not only the back that you speak of. There's several things up top that need fixed, addressed too, Steve.
Okay, but there again, it's repairs, not something that makes it unfit for human occupation.
That's already been determined. We're past that point. Now the building needs to be brought up to repairs.
That was Scott's decision before the engineer said anything. Yes, it was. Scott walked through and said, this building isn't safe. The engineer did not address any one single item that Scott brought up to me when he told me the building was unsafe. None of it's on here. None of it.
I don't know anything about that conversation. I can't speak to that.
I'm serious. I'm not making this up.
We're going by what the engineer.
When Scott, when I went through and Brett and the fire department, not one single thing that they said is on this engineer report.
Since you received it, have you shown it to anyone to see? Since you received the report, have you shown it to anyone to get like a quote or?
I'm gonna do the repairs myself. I don't need to show it to anyone. And for your information, I've lost the entire month waiting on this engineering report. Obviously, in my opinion, you need to at least give me 30 more days because I haven't even been able to work on it until I got this. And by the way, this was mailed to me, which cost me another 2 or 3 days, when all someone had to do was call me and I'd drive down here and get it.
Well,
I
we
could've
need,
started
we need
3
to have
days
document,
sooner.
we need to have documentation that it was delivered.
But
so.
you could have, I could have picked it up in person and had it mailed to me. No, that's
So have all the roof, all the exterior ceiling, all the weather tight repairs been made to the building?
Have they been done?
Yeah,
I was told not to do it.
you were told not to do structural repairs.
No. Scott told me, don't touch it till you get the engineering report.
Okay, well, I guess we'll extend it 30 days. That's what we're proposing. Is that agreeable?
I hope so. Yeah, it's
I
gonna
mean,
take
it's
longer
not for
than
the
that.
structural repairs, that's to finish, roof, windows, exterior, weatherproofing, all that stuff. So staff, so between now and the next meeting, you can meet with staff so that they can determine whether or not all those repairs have been made. So we can check that off the list of things that need to be done. Does that make sense?
Obviously, that portion you just said is the garage in the back, which has a door. And as long as that door is shut, animals can't get in.
Well, I think the pictures we saw, there were window repairs, broken glass, some brick up above
You
exterior
didn't say you do any
windows.
of that.
Well, those are identified in the staff photos on things that,
You mean the one from 2.5 years ago?
well, have those repairs been made?
I just found out. Just right after this all started. Why is Scott or Brett neither one here?
Well, they provide guidance for this board's direction, but they're not the ones that are making these decisions. We evaluate the
no,
engineer, the staff.
The city attorney sat right there and said that it was totally Brett's decision whether or not the building's condemned. You guys are just affirming it, and that's what it's worded on the notice on the building, that you're affirming their decision. But they have a decision to lift that condemnation anytime they feel like it.
When we discussed that we need the structural repairs to be made and the fire department needs to sign off on the fire safety of the building, and Brett needs to do an inspection to determine that the building's safe. Those were the 3 items we discussed for the building to be habitable.
The front or the back?
Whatever, it's all one building. So the repairs, you're given an option to repair the front and tear off the back, or repair all of the building. Those
I
are the
think
2
I've already
options.
said at the last meeting that Scott told me if I would agree to tear off the back, he'd release the front immediately.
I don't know whether or not that's true, but
Well, if the front's safe, it's safe.
we're not gonna argue on this, okay? So we're gonna do a 30-day extension to extend the weather sealing of the building. And we're proposing a 6-month extension on the civil penalty. So that, to give you time to make the structural repairs in the report.
Right. Jeff, would that be from 6 months from October or 6 months from today?
Up to you. You can do it either way.
I certainly hope to have that done before then. I have Black Swan's ready to move out now. They're getting so upset. And I have a tax business in there that has to open January the 1st. So I promise you, I'll do everything in my power to get the condemnation lifted before January 1st, which, who knows? I'm not even allowed to talk to the engineer. Scott ordered me not to talk to him. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? He's supposed to give his opinion on how to fix stuff, and I'm not allowed to talk to him. Scott ordered me not to speak to him.
Okay, well, I don't have the details of that conversation. Is there any other board discussion before we,
3 days in 6 months.
30 days on the weather, 6 months on the structural repairs?
Mhm.
And what was the other?
Hey, this is James. I don't think the question was answered whether it was an extension from now or an extension from October, I think the 19th.
I mean, we can,
I would have,
so do we, what's the date for the 6 months from October would be the April meeting? So do we need to set that? When we can entertain a motion to extend the civil penalty deadline to the April BZA meeting.
Yes.
And we're gonna extend the weather sealing deadline 30 days to the September BZA meeting.
Yes.
April 18th is the April meeting.
Okay, April 18th, 2023. And then
Yes.
next step timelines for structural remedy. I mean, Steve's got the report.
Right, so it'll just be.
Those are the repairs that need to be made
Correct.
based on the engineer.
Right.
So once he finishes those repairs, then the town can inspect the building.
Right.
So,
And then we'll have to bring any fire code violations up to code.
Yeah.
And then that's when we can do all the final inspections and release.
all right, Jeff, should we do these separately or all as one?
You can do it all as one as long as they're the same vote on each, as
Okay,
far as the yeses.
guess we'll entertain a motion for the 30-day and the 6-month extension discussed.
I entertain a motion for the 30-day extension for the weatherproofing.
Okay.
And the
And that's
6
really to the September meeting, correct? To not
Correct,
get
yes.
bogged down in technicalities. It's the September meeting.
Okay. And the 6-month extension, which would be April, take us to April of 2023,
Yeah, April 18th,
April 18th.
yeah, of 2023.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
second,
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
James votes aye.
In favor?
Yeah, he said aye.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Opposed? None opposed? Motion carries. So, we'll see you next month to hopefully have completed the weatherproofing and making progress on the structural repairs per the report. So, thanks. All right, next item, new business, V00816-2022-01. Variance from development standards to allow lot size over 5 acres at heavy business.
Yeah, tonight we have applicant Wake Development LLC, represented by David Gilman. This is regarding property at the 8843 West County Road 700 South. David Gilman is present, as well as a representative from Indy Boat.
Dan Larry.
Dan Larry. Okay, thank you. The subject property is 14.31 acres, approximately 14 acres. And to introduce the petition tonight, a little bit of background. It was zoned heavy business in March of 2022, as recommended by Plan Commission to the Town Council. Also in April 2022, there was a variance from the architectural standards that was approved by BZA, by your board, for the indoor and outdoor boat storage. There's a few items listed there as far as what was approved, but just kind of a little reminder, it was a building orientation, window replacement requirement, facade features, and building finishes. They did allow that standing seam metal to be placed on those boat storage facility units. The original intent for this property was to take 5 acres of it and parcel off in the remaining 9 acres for a future business. That 5 acres was going to house that boat storage facility, which was approved, and also a site development plan was submitted to the planning department and approved from there. But in the meantime, the applicant has interest in developing the entire 14 acres to encompass the boat sales and service area for that southern half of that 14-acre parcel off of State Road 13. Petitioner feels that the business is fitting for the area. It's good use of the land, and petition states that the site is to be developed under one ownership, which would encompass that boat storage as well as that boat sales and service business model. The original variance that was granted was, as mentioned, and there is a site location there in your packet. But that 5 acres was to hold or house that boat storage facility. However, the heavy business zoning district does allow a maximum of 10 acres. So petitioner tonight is asking the board to approve a 14-acre heavy business zoning district, which puts that over 4 acres per the UDO allowance of that maximum. So if David Gilman would like to add anything to this one's a pretty straightforward petition. Part 1 of his request tonight. But if you have any questions, he's more than willing to answer anything that you have, or if there's anything else additional that I can answer, I'd be more than happy to. And then I can come back and give staff comments that we would like to present to the board.
So really, the only variance is the lot size. Everything
Exactly.
else is
Yep,
fine.
that's all that is a part of this petition.
Okay.
Mhm.
I see on the site plan gravel drive. Is that allowed by the UDO? So you'll go through that in. the
Yeah,
site
that'll happen
development.
in site plan
Okay.
development stage. So concepts sometimes have things like the Bagley property had an 8-foot path, we required 10 feet.
Gotcha. So this is not final.
No,
So,
Correct.
okay. And NDOT for the entrance and all that good stuff. So,
Mhm.
is there staff discussion on on the 4 acres of the overage? I mean, what's the kind of the origin of the 10-acre cap? I mean, I guess I could see if it's a heavy use, it's very intense,
Right.
noisy,
Yeah.
a lot of heat or something, you might want to cap the size, but this seems to be a pretty light use for
Right.
heavy business, I think.
It probably was something like that where, in this situation, if it was a heavier use, you'd have the power to either allow it or disallow it
Sure.
based on the lot size.
I agree with you.
And I mean, technically, they could split the parcel and have the
Yeah.
same person operate
could.
2 parts, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that makes stuff difficult when you've got.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily think it's injurious to the public or anything. We should probably. The findings of fact, did you guys prepare?
There's one prepared, does not have any conditions on this one.
Mhm.
If you would like to, you definitely have the option to approve with conditions. We can add that and have that signed later on after tonight. But we did prepare one. It's in your Google Drive, and a hard copy is right there on the board.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so the variance will not be injurious to the public. Use of adjacent property is not adversely affected. I did notice they have a 50-foot buffer in there on the site plan. Complementary use and it would not interfere with the comp plan, so. I guess unless there's any other discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve the variance. James, any discussion?
Do you have anything to add or anything? No?
Yeah, I guess
Right.
give the petitioner an opportunity to present if they want.
No
So
further
this is a-
Okay. We have a motion.
We should also, just for the record, invite any public comment that might be there. I can't see if anybody's there, but just for the record that we called.
Just Jeff and
Okay.
James.
All right. So no members of the public, so. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 James, what do you vote?
I vote aye. Sorry about that. I got helicopters flying over me.
Oh, that's.
Oh, wow.
All those opposed, same
I vote-
sign.
I vote aye, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
4 ayes, motion carries. All right, next item, CU 8/16/2022-02, conditional use to allow amendment to the conditional use approved site plan.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah, this one kind of goes hand in hand, what was just presented. There was a conditional use that was allowed and approved by your board in April of 2022 this year. There is a conditional use of the automobile and vehicle storage, just not junk or salvage that it fell under. That was approved, but they wanted to add a piece in that layer of the boat sales and service to that conditional use for their site plan. The proposed use, like I said, brings those two together, is a very complementary use of the two. They're on one parcel. The materials and architectural standards will complement the developed area. They are committing to that. The site is to also provide safe and easy access to roadways, and also any public points of access will have to be approved by the town engineer. They are also going to provide proper drainage, utility needs, as well as preserving those easements there for the utilities. And they've outlined those on the preliminary site plan that is in front of you tonight. Also, we have provided a comparison so you could see in your presentation what the original site plan that had been submitted and approved by the planning department. It just expands that scope and broadens the full use and development of that 14 acres. And those are there for you as a comparison. And you'll see that's outlined in what David Gilman's provided. They really went into great detail. That northern half of the parcel is fully surrounded by fencing and gates. They would like to build the 6 most west storage facility buildings there. They will each be 60 by 160 feet. Then the 6 to the west of that northern half of that parcel will be for future development. There's also then towards that east end of the parcel and outdoor storage space area just for boats that they will not be housed indoor, but they will be accommodated by a 10 by 20 parking space. Then on the southern half is what has kind of changed on their scope and interest for the development of this land. They would like to build a 30,000 square foot showroom, office space, as well as service area. There's an area for future development as well as parking, providing 78 parking spaces for customers and staff, as well as there on the south, the State Road 13 there on the far south end of that parcel would be, they're proposing to have a boat display area. And looks like it might accommodate maybe 15 different boats, kind of, how the drawing was. But and then on the very eastern border of the parcel, they've done a great job of stormwater control with a wet test area with a fountain, as well as a detention pond and swell area. So they would like to present and request for your approval to amend that conditional use approved site plan, both to allow the boat storage as well as that boat sales and service area to that 14 acre parcel. So at this time, if you have any questions for me, or I can go right into recommendations, or David, if you'd like to add anything.
Okay, any questions for staff right now? All right, come on up.
Thank you, Denise. For the record, my name is David Gilman. My offices are at 211 South Ritter Avenue Indianapolis, Indiana, 46219. I wanted just to add just a little bit more detail on our proposed site plan for the new boat sales and service. We have about 12,500 square feet of that area would be dedicated to the sales office or the sales area. 10,000 square feet of that would be dedicated for office and parts. Another 12,500 for the service bay area. And then as mentioned by Denise, we do have on the east end of the building a potential to expand that 30,000, another 15,000 square feet or so for future growth. We did want to make sure that our parking lot was accurate on our site plan, our parking count. The parking requirement is 1 space per 800 square feet of sales area, plus 2 parking spaces for every service bay. So what I did is I did 1 at 800 for the sales at the 12,500 at 16. I did 1 per 800 for the office and the parts at 10,000 or 13 spaces. Service bays, 2 per bay, and we're anticipating 10 bays. So there's another 20 spaces. Required parking is right around 49, 50 spaces. As Denise mentioned, we're showing somewhere between 63 and 78 spaces. So we're a little bit over parked, but that's okay. We may need to move some of that parking around. We have at the current location, they have 10 employees, and we hope to transfer those 10 employees and then potentially hire 10 more for a total of 20 employees. Right now, their current sales are about 50 boats per year. We'd certainly like to see that increase, but the total investment that Wake Development is anticipating on this property is between 4 and 5 million. And it's flattering that they're able to, take their existing lease area in Noblesville and get a permanent home here in Pendleton, not only for their immediate needs, but for their future needs. We did want to make sure that we looked at the site plan and development standard requirements throughout the ordinance so that what we represented is very close to what we would be able to develop. We looked at the front yard landscape requirements. We looked at the thoroughfare right of way. We looked at the street landscaping, parking lot landscaping, landscaping around the primary building, the required buffer yard, site lighting plan, and signage. And then the detention pond location also has some parameters in the ordinance, being 20 feet away from a property line. We think we'll be able to satisfy those conditions. If we don't, for whatever reason, we may have to come back and ask for a standard variance. But right now, we don't see any need for any development standard variances, and we're not asking for any architectural standard variances on the new showroom. I think that's about all I have. Dan, did you have anything that you wanted to add? If you have questions for us.
So I'm Dan Liotti, part owner of Wake Ventures, and my son is actually president of Indy Boat Co. I'm assisting him. So we have a great operation in Noblesville. We purchased the business from Pro Wake Water Sports about 1.5 years ago. And we thought about trying to build in Noblesville, and we end up purchasing this 14 acres. And the more we thought about it, we just thought it'd be perfect just to have our the storage, the same place as the dealership. We have 4 brands. We sell Mastercraft, Moomba, Supra, wakeboard boats, and ski boats, and also Sylvan pontoon lines. So if you need a boat, please come see us. But we're excited to bring a really high quality, high caliber. Our clientele are very expensive boats. We're excited to bring this opportunity to Pendleton, and we think it'd be a great facility.
So the show, you mentioned the showroom will meet the architectural.
Yes.
Overhangs, masonry, all that good stuff.
So we've hired Peterson Architects to help assist us with the building.
Okay.
And one thing, I've had a conversation with Fall Creek Sewer District. You've had a conversation with Inglewater.
We're thinking about well. We probably we're going to use a well for water. We've talked to Mr. James Riffey for retention. We're going to get an easement through his property to run south for drainage. And then Fall Creek Regional, they say no problem on the sanitary sewer.
Are you gonna be dedicating any right of way on 700 there?
I did look at the thoroughfare plan and we measured our setbacks based on the thoroughfare right of way for both 13 and 700. So
Okay.
yes, we'll be able to
Okay,
dedicate.
because
them.
I think that parcel goes to the middle of that road right now.
Yeah, so
Yes, it does.
you're not platting anything.
We're not platting, but we would commit to dedicating the right of way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I guess we'll add that as a commitment that they'll deed the right of way to the town, the required half.
Half, yeah.
And I saw the previously approved site plan rendering had landscaping. It doesn't look like the new one does, but they will eventually prepare ones in compliance with the UDO.
Yes,
So,
and that's why I wanted to make sure that you understood that we did look at the landscaping because our plan doesn't show it. So I think this is a conceptual plan,
Sure.
and then there will be a lot of standards that we'll have to apply to that to get it approved through all the departments.
Okay.
Yep, so next would be site development, and that's where we would have that, check mark box of everything they have to meet.
Yep.
As far as that goes.
So tonight, we're just, the boat storage and boat sales and service together is how we're amended. That's the proposed request,
Amendment,
is to
is that it?
to allow the conditional use to add the sales and service.
Yes.
There was one thing that you had, oh, I'm sorry.
Was it the other way around where you're adding the boat storage to the?
Well, I mean, we already approved boat
Yeah.
storage.
And that's where I went, the boat storage is approved, we're expanding the boat storage, and then we're adding the sales and service. In the boat storage that was previously approved, we were committing to a full depth asphalt approach to the right of way, and then it was gravel or aggregate inside our own compound for the storage. Everything else will be asphalt.
So you're keeping the Noblesville location too?
No, our lease is up in about a little over 2 years from now, so our goal is to be here about 2 years from now.
So 2023 for the first phase of the storage, 2024
For the deal.
for the dealership.
So I guess any discussion on the, so we need to entertain a motion to allow the boat sales and service and the 6 boat storage buildings,
The expansion, the
because it's
addition.
larger than before.
Yes.
To,
There's also an extension of that outdoor storage area, sort of picked up some dead space along the south property line.
yeah,
And the ponds got bigger.
I don't recall the gravel being part of the previous approval. Do you?
I think that was something we had discussed, because those aren't technically parking spaces. It's not a parking surface. It's to lead to the.
And I guess it's all staff access, right? The public's not gonna be driving back there.
As long as the approach is asphalt, then we're fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay,
Yeah,
alright.
it's not,
Up
Target
to the
trying
right
to
of
put in a
way.
gravel parking lot.
and then like the outdoor storage spaces, that's paved down there at the south, or,
All the dealership is paved, but
Okay.
the storage area would be gravel.
okay,
Maybe asphalt up to the right of way, correct?
Yes, yeah, we won't, yeah, we'll commit to the new right of way, whatever that is.
Yeah. okay. Well, I guess I will entertain a motion to approve
Elevation.
the conditional use to allow indoor, outdoor boat storage.
Kyle,
Huh?
we had one element we wanted to raise and present, just about the elevated boat display off of State Road 13. We just wanted to run that by you all
Okay.
to make sure that you were comfortable with that. If you wanted a little clarification on what that height of that elevation would be for those boat displays, and if we wanted.
Because that's not something we
Oh, I see.
really have in the
That was part of
UDO.
our-
Sure, I just saw, I saw the one by the pond.
Yeah, right up
But
on
there's one
State
down
Road
front.
13.
So we don't have anything in the UDO that restricts height on that?
Well, I
I
mean,
kind of do.
well, okay, we do.
They're called attention seekers or attention getters, attention signs.
Yeah.
They can be 15 feet tall. Now, obviously, there's a mound in the boat itself, but I think 15 feet, you should be already pretty close.
Yeah, I would think, yeah, well, yeah. No.
So that, so you don't need a variance for that. it sounds
Well,
like, but- Or do
Is
we?
that attention seeking signage?
Yes,
Is that temporary or permanent?
well, that's.
That's the thing. I
that's
think
the-
it's temporary.
We could have, yeah, so I don't know.
And yeah, I was gonna definitely look into that more, but if that's something,
So do you have like a stand you put them on, or are they just
That was.
up on the
concept.
mound on a trailer?
Yeah,
or-
that was a concept from our architect, maybe put a platform up there and you can actually drive a boat. It'd be sitting on a trailer.
Yeah.
See cars sitting, but have basically two boats kind of on display, so to speak, at that center point.
Sure.
So as long as they did not have the name of the business on the boat, would you maybe give us some flexibility and not consider that a sign?
yeah, I mean, what do you
It's
think?
more of the height and the.
Yeah, I think I'm
I
most
think that's
concerned
more
about.
of the height
Yeah,
of it.
the height.
And the block.
Because I know when the boat storage was originally going in, I had heard some concerns voiced about, not wanting to see parked boats from the road, but I know this is a kind of a different type of thing. This
It's a
is,
sales facility now.
Sales
I mean, it looks
facility.
like they're gonna be
So-
60 foot back off the road anyway.
right,
so-
right, so.
Yeah, these are basically new boats we're displaying. I mean,
Right.
very well compared to like somebody's stored boat that may not be
Right,
so. pretty.
Exactly,
Yeah, these are-
so I don't think it'll pose a problem, but we just wanted to bring it to your attention just in
Sure.
case it was, because we've never done anything like that
Yeah.
before, so.
I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah, all setbacks are met, the max capacity and coverage, it will be met, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and he kind of resolved our concerns as far as for that building facade design with that showroom. Sounds like that they're willing to stick with those three minimum material uses that are allowed by UDO and landscaping, so
And the windows,
we're good.
all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I guess we'll, any public input or online. we'll Cover that here before we entertain a motion. All right, so the following staff comments, conditional use will be served adequately by public facilities and utilities. Materials and architecture to match, enhance the character of the surrounding area. Site under one ownership works well for the facility, fit and business model. Setbacks and maximum impervious coverage are met. Conditional use would not interfere with the UDO or comp plan. And the showroom building facade design and landscaping will meet the UDO. And we've discussed the elevated boat display isn't an issue, so I will entertain a motion to approve the variance to allow the boat storage facility and boat sales and service as depicted on the site rendering. Yes.
Make a motion to approve the way it was presented to us, the new showroom, boat storage. You okay with that, Kyle?
I think that works.
The way
Yeah.
it was presented to
Yeah,
us.
Yep.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
James votes aye.
All right. All those opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We will be in touch to get your site plan going.
That's it. Nothing else? All right, meeting adjourned.
I just want to ask you, David, is there a high-powered gas line anywhere near there?
Yeah,
Were we discussing that at one point?
Yeah, it goes north-south.
Okay, right. in the center.
Yeah.
We're gonna put parking over.
Okay, wow, they're letting you put parking.
You're allowed to put that.
Recording still?
The one down here, they won't even let Starbucks put like a tree on it. I don't know how big that line is, but that one